Welcome back. It is now May 3rd. I'm out here at the ranch up in the foothills. Today's Sunday, just getting rototilling done, and while I'm doing that, I'm spreading Humiterra. So let's take a look at some Humiterra here. Before I started rototilling, I spread and incorporated a bunch of these Humiterra pellets. So if you don't know much about Humiterra, it is a living biological full of fungus and bacteria. Because when you're rototilling something like a garden like this, what you're doing is you're basically breaking up all those underground fungal structures and basically reducing soil health a little bit in an effort to basically get, fluffier soils easier to plant into. So by spreading Humiterra, it's going to help that fungus and bacteria recover in the soil faster and hopefully get some better produce out of it. Well, back to my first seeded field of barley. This is the one where lots of the seed that was germinating was frozen in the seed row, and you can see we now have emergence throughout the field. We're just starting to come up here, still very small. And it looks like there is a little bit of temperature banding on some of it, but that's not unusual for this time of the year. So far, pretty sparse and few and far between. But once I start digging around, they are all germinated and in various stages of emerging. So we just have to wait a few more days, and it'll look like we have a much better stand. Here, this row here, you can see we have a much better emergence here so far. Well, my field that I'm planning on putting my small plots in has been seeded as of last night. So this morning my task is to put my plots in and mark them. So I'm going to be getting to that here shortly. This year I'm going to have 13 different micronutrient and biostimulant plots to test. So I need to lay out 13 plots replicated 4 times headed off down this field. Now this is a really nice even field. I've picked a really nice zone. I'm just off the headland and should be in a spot where sprayer tires do not run through the plots, but now it's time to lay it all out. Last year I used a giant flexible measuring tape to lay out my plots, and in the wind by myself it was a huge pain in the ass. So this year I have a 2x4 with my measurements marked on it, so I just drag that down till the end matches my last mark off my 2-meter mark off my buffer space between the plots, and do it again 53 times per side. Well, there we go. All stakes put in, numbered and lettered and organized with buffer space between the plots. My truck down there is at about the halfway point, so 52 plots staked in, over 200 wood stakes. It's at moments like this when you look down the length of the plots and you realize, what the hell have I gotten myself into again? It's not so bad when it's split up into 2 different locations, but this year, doing all 4 replications in the same spot, try to get a little bit better data. If it gets wiped out by hail, it's going to become a hail data trial. Well, today the only products that are going to get applied are the ones for seeding or pre-burn time. So today that is going to include Humiterra, which was the winner of last year's small plot trials. This is a granular biological full of fungi and bacteria. Going up against it is going to be Replenish from Replenish Nutrients. This is the Rebuilder product. So this is a phosphate and sulfur fertilizer with compost, fungi, and bacteria. So I'll be interested to see how that one performs. From Nature's Aid, we're putting down a Soil Aid, which is pre-burn timing. That is going to be a humic product with a bunch of seaweed and PGPRs in there. And finally, we have Phycoterra. As you can see, I need to shake it up a bit. It's settled out. This is a LJ product. So basically looks and smells like pond scum. So we'll get this down at 1 liter per acre. We'll see how things work out. Well, those products are applied. Last step today is going to be doing some soil sampling here, especially for Earth Strong products. They want to know exactly what soil fertility is so they can recommend which one of their products is going to be the best fit for in-crop. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to be using the bucket and the drill for that. Well, there's my 0 to 12 soil sample done from the plots. You can see there is some decent moisture in that upper 12 inches of soil here. Hopefully it'll be enough to carry us through to the next rain, but for now, I think we're off to a good start. And other than that, this trial is done for now. Next stage, we'll be doing in-crop and flag leaf products, and that won't happen for a couple weeks yet, depending on the weather. Ideally now that these products are down, we'll get some rain. It might go poorly for some of these pre-seed only products if we don't get any rain prior to herbicide timing. So we'll see how that goes. In the list of today's products is both last year's best and worst performers. So we're gonna see how things turn out in the end, I suppose. Well, this field has been seeded into peas over 2 weeks ago. Just starting to see some emergence here now. Looks like just in the last day or so, maybe even since yesterday, these have just started to poke through. So a couple more days, I'm sure we're gonna see a much more thick stand in here now, probably less than 50% or
poking out right now. But now is going to be a good time to start watching for things like cutworms. You know, as these peas emerge, they are going to be susceptible to any species of cutworm out there. So we got to watch, make sure they're not getting chewed off, as well as the usual pea leaf weevil, which is going to cut some notches on the leaves when those guys start to appear as well.
Well, at this point of the year, fields that have not been seeded are certainly starting to green up and get dirtier. This is potato stubble that was pretty clean 2 weeks ago. Since then, however, there has been a bunch of downy brome as well as wild oats and some volunteer cereals come up. As well as here you can see we got a bunch of buckwheat. It's just starting to come up. You can see kind of that reddish color in the bottom of the leaf there. There's that first true leaf in that traditional buckwheat kind of shape. There's also lots of kochia in here. We got lamb's quarters coming up. Bit of everything starting up in here. So we're going to be putting this field into canola. So we're going to have to make sure we do a pretty good pre-burn on this. Make sure it is cleaned up for canola. Well, there's lots of canola going ground now. Conditions are pretty good. Soil is more than warm enough, even though we've been, relatively cool yesterday and today. So usually in conditions like this, on dry land, I'm kind of recommending most of my guys to be 3/4 to 1 inch deep. Got to go a little slower at the seed row tool here, so I don't miss the canola seed there. You can just see a little shadow of them there. Oop. So we're at just about 7/8 of an inch there, not quite an inch. So that is pretty much perfect. Once you get down beyond probably 1.25 to 1.5 inches, you do start to get increased mortality from the canola seedlings struggling to emerge. On irrigation, or if there was rain in the forecast, like for sure a couple of days of rain and we weren't worried about moisture, I'd have no problem recommending 1/2 inch. But really, if anything we've learned from the last few years has taught us, it's that we can't really count on spring moisture for germination here. On this farm just a couple of years ago, we had a field of canola that was seeded relatively shallow because of a rain forecast that actually never germinated until like almost halfway through June because there was no moisture. So better safe than sorry. Seed into that moisture. Make sure it's got enough moisture for at least 5 or 6 days so it'll germinate properly. Well, I am seeing a few patches in this field where you'll just see a dozen or so plants here that have been chewed off. This probably occurred a couple days ago, judging by the growth here. Now with things like barley and wheat, not really a significant issue. That cutworm has come along, done its feeding and moved on, and the growing point is still below the ground. So it's really not hardly slowing the plant down at all. And that tells me it's probably the dingy cutworm, which tends to be a surface or above feeder. So I'm really not too concerned about this. Now for pulses or canola, that could be a much bigger concern. But so far, none of those are out of the ground for me to really check for cutworms yet, but we'll keep watching. Well, this field with the really high pressure of wild oats has been seeded into canola now. So prior to seeding, this did receive a pre-burn, which included Garrison from Gowan. So Garrison is basically going to give us some good residual control on emerging wild oats. And the ones that were, already here and established should be getting controlled by the pre-burn. They're already a little bit off color. So I think in the next few days, we're going to start to see more activity on them. And hopefully we can keep this field clean for the rest of the season. This field got seeded into lentils last week, and they are looking pretty good. Now down in this spot, some of the soil here is pretty blocky and hard. You can hear how hard that is. So hopefully the lentils don't have any problem coming out of that. Some rows are a little on the deep side here, but you can see that one is really nicely germinated. That'll probably be emerging in the next day or so. I think there'll be some that are going to be a little deeper down yet. Yeah, there's most of them right there. So those guys nicely germinated. They'll be out of the ground in no time there. Now that conditions are warming up, there is more weed emergence going on out here. You can see these little guys, the little arrowhead-shaped cotyledons. That is a roundleaf mallow. So they're going to see a lot more of this as the season goes on here. It generally likes relatively warm soil conditions to germinate. Here along this fence line, I'm looking for some yarrow, and it's not too hard to find. You can see these little fern-like leaves down here. And grab some there. So yarrow is a broadleaf plant. It is not actually a fern. It does appear once in a while in fields. I've gotten a few
picture messages in the last week or so about this, but technically it is kind of a wildflower. You'll see some white umbel style flowers later on in the season. It also has an extremely strong flavor, and that's why I'm looking for it today and picking some. I want spring, nice tender spring growth with all of its flavor for my agronomist Amaro that I'll be making again this winter. This field was seeded into canola a few days ago. Let's take a quick look in here, see where that seed is sitting and what the conditions are in the seed row. You can see that seed pretty shallow there at about 1/2 inch or even less. See if there's more here. Yeah, there's more. So you can see this seed is still sitting in some dry crumbly stuff, which means either that moisture has moved since seeding and gone down, or it was seeded relatively shallow to begin with. You can tell this soil is quite hard here. So I think the drill was probably having trouble getting any sort of depth. So unfortunately, that seed is probably going to sit there dry until we get some moisture, and sufficient moisture at that, to join those two layers so we can get proper germination. Well, lots of canola still getting seeded out there. This particular field, fairly sandy ground, but you can see we're getting in there. Pretty good depth. You know, about 3/4 of an inch. We're in the moisture, so hopefully now this ground has been disturbed, it'll hold on to that moisture long enough that that seed can germinate and get going. A lot of these guys are out here seeding canola right now, and there's a lot of acres getting done. Friday morning here now, and I think a lot of these guys are going to be done by next week. There's going to be a lot of farms get finished up this weekend, maybe with the exception of, you know, some corn acres and stuff like that, but overall everything's looking good. Well, that'll be it for this week. I think next week we're going to see a whole lot of crop coming out of the ground as the prairies begin to turn green, which is my favorite time of the year. So we will see you then.